Welcome back to Smok'n Jay's Garage. We're out on the water today, the beautiful bay of Green Bay, and we're going to talk about our brand new 2020 Yamaha 242X. Now this is a new boat to me, so we're going to talk about the features that are specific to this boat, and then I'm going to compare it a little bit to my old boat, which is a 2003 SR230. So this boat is a foot bigger and obviously 17 years newer, so there's a lot of different features that it has. We're going to go over some of those things that I like about this boat and things that I don't like about this boat in comparison to that boat. While we're back here, we'll start about this. We've got the transom seating. This is one of the things that has drawn me to Yamaha ever since I found out about it. We've got a nice swim platform over here. We've got seats over here. You can sit down. You get your wakeboard ready, right? You're right on the water. When the kids swim up, you have a ladder right over here, but you don't really need it. You can just hop yourself right up on the back of the boat. We do have a hook right over there. That's not really a hook, but whatever. We're going to have the opportunity to hook a table there if we want to. We've got 4 cup holders back here. We've got 2 speakers back here. We have a radio control. I can show you that without falling in the water. We've got a radio control here. We can adjust, we can set it to adjust just the back speakers here, or we can adjust all of the speakers. There's 10 speakers throughout this this boat, including the one up there that is a sound bar. So that's actually multiple speakers there, besides the subwoofers and everything. So that is pretty cool that you can adjust that either as a whole, the whole system, or just the speakers back here if you're back here and want just a little bit more or less volume back here. We've got the wakeboard racks. They swing in for docking and hauling. Holds 2 wakeboards, one on either side, and then 2 surfboards, one on either side. We do have wet storage back here, which is actually really nice. Behind both of these seats, this whole area here is wet storage. You can put your life jackets back there once you get wet. So we were just doing some wakeboarding. We've got our rope. We just threw our rope back there, and we threw our life jackets back there, and we don't have to hang them on anything and let them drip into the boat. So that's pretty cool. 4 cup holders that are self-draining. Handles are polished aluminum. Wakeboard racks are polished aluminum. It's pretty fancy in that sense. Looks nice. We're gonna head inside the boat and we'll show you those features. All right, we're gonna start back here with our twin 1.8 liter engines with a total horsepower of 360. It's 180 horse per engine. As an upgrade from our old boat, excuse me, upgrade from our old boat, which was the 1 liter, the MR1 motors, which were 140 horsepower apiece for a total of 280 horse. So this is up to 360. Speed-wise and power-wise, I feel like it's pretty comparable though. This boat dry weight is 4,032 pounds, and our other boat was 2,900 dry weight. So we've actually got a lot more horsepower, but we've got a little over 1,000 pounds, a little over 1,100 pounds in weight difference. That part of that is obviously the tower, and we've got a deeper hull, and we hold our beam out a lot farther past the windshield than we did in the old boat. So let me close this up, and we will go out to the front, and I'll show you the front. Well, actually, we'll stay in here. We'll stay in here, and I'll show you what we got here. We've got the Connect, like as in next. Yeah, Connect system here, which is all digital. This is pretty cool. This is part of the E series. You can get the 242X, or you can get the limited edition, 242 limited in the Connects. So let me move my coffee out of here. Everything on here is digital. We're not running right now, so we are in float mode. When you start up the engines, these are both going to turn into digital tachometers. We've got our speedometer down here, or we can go home, and our speed will be here with our compass. We've got a map. You can turn on your little breadcrumb trail so you can follow where you've been or where you're going. We have our trip info, which is a good time to talk about speed right now, because I'm sure that's something you want to know. It does also tell your water temperature, so when this turns into a tachometer, if you still want to know your water temperature, it will show your water temperature. It'll show you how many miles to the gallon we're getting. We're averaging 2.1 miles to the gallon. When you're running, it will give you your rate of fuel, how many gallons per hour you are using. At wide open throttle, it uses 25 gallons per hour. So at wide open throttle, you got 2 hours worth of gas. Our highest speed was 48.4 miles per hour. Yamaha's claim is that this boat will go 50.3. We had 4 adults, 2 children, and a full tank of fuel, along with, you know, a cooler and our life jackets and all that kind of gear and stuff. And we got 48.4 was the fastest that we got. My average speed is only 5 miles an hour because we're still in the break-in period. We're within our first 10 hours, so we've got to keep it under so many RPMs. Right now we can do anything, but we had to keep it under so many RPMs. We're still doing the break-in, so we're not running very hard. Drive control here, this is for with your wakeboarding or your surfing or whatever you want to do. You can set your target speed, your acceleration, your ballast. You've got 1,400 pounds of ballast. You can fill up however you want. This actually, we did some wakeboarding today. It was actually very helpful for us. It's a little bit rough. Hopefully we're not waving around too much. This was actually really helpful to us because you just hit set, you hit the throttle, and it accelerates on its own, maintains the speed on its own. Was actually pretty cool. And you've got your media. You've got AM radio, FM radio, Bluetooth, USB, and auxiliary. Your control system, you got dock lights, tower lights, interior lights, navigation lights, anchor lights, your bilge, your blower, and then you've got a bright and dim on how bright and dim you want all of those. Your tower lights are actually pretty cool. You've got 5 LED lights up here in the tower. When it's dark out, those actually illuminate quite nicely. And you've got your big subwoofers on here. You've got your sound bar up here, and those are wired up to the 1,000 watt amplifier. And then the last thing that you've got on here is your menu, all your stuff, your languages, your brightness, your depth. You can set your alarm. So we've got our depth alarm set. Anytime we get below 2 feet of water, it's going to set off the alarm. You can set that for whatever you want. And then you can also use your joystick here. You can control what you want instead of using the push button if you want. It's got the no wake mode, it's got cruise control, and then you've got all of your hand buttons here too. You want to shut your stereo off, if you want to turn your bilge on, your blower, your horn, that kind of stuff. It's got cruise, sorry, that does have cruise, yes. Tilt steering wheel, push button start and stop, hooked up to 1 key. Your throttles, you can choose if you want to use both throttles or if you want to use a single throttle. I find for the majority of things it's easier to run both engines on 1 throttle. It synchronizes it itself. Just push the throttle out of the way and everything's on 1 throttle. Another thing that I did notice that is fairly nice on rough waters, rather than having to hold this up here, if you put your palm right on top of here, get between your thumb and your forefinger, you get a fairly steady base and you can adjust your throttle up and down a little bit on a rougher water. Helps you out quite a bit, for me anyway, adjusting your throttle a little bit in the waves. It does come with a tow mirror so that you can watch your skier or your wakeboarder or whatever. This Bimini comes off if you want, or it opens up. This whole section here unzips, rolls up, gives you a nice sunshade. And this will drop down, this block will drop down, gives you about 4 inches lower here, which raises your back up, which when you're pulling your skier or whatever, gives you a little bit more room for your rope to go there. You don't rub on the back of it. We do have another subwoofer over here. We got the 2 speakers there. We do have a filler cushion for here. I don't have it in right now. When you don't want that as a step to walk out to your transom, you've got a very nice filler cushion that fits in there. You've got a lockable glove box here. You want to throw your wallet or whatever in there while you're out at the dock or at the sandbar or wherever you are. You can lock that. And you also have storage here, which right now has all of my owner's manual, and my registration hasn't come in yet, so I've got my registration numbers for when that does come in. We have a head. They actually call this a changing room, but they make a porta-john that specifically fits in here. That's where you've got your table and everything. There is a light in the back of that, so when you close this, you do have a little bit of light in there. We decided nobody wants to carry out the poop bucket, so we're not going to use that as a bathroom. We're going to keep that as just a changing room or storage. Now, as far as storage goes, I was a little bit disappointed in the storage because Yamaha claims, I don't know what their claim is exactly as far as what they say for gallons or whatever of storage, but it says it's got a lot of storage. Now, part of the X model is that you've got the ballast in it. We've got ballast underneath my feet here in the ski locker, and we've got ballast bags on either side over here, which take up a pretty fair amount of room. So this compartment, we don't have room for hardly anything. We've got our batteries in there. We've got inside of this box is our ballast bag, our fire extinguisher, and just a little bit of room there. That's where I've got my ropes and stuff. This whole compartment is pretty much full. On my old boat, I had a lot of room to put storage in there on both sides. It was set up a little bit differently. I had a big door over here that had a lot of storage in it. I did not have the wet storage behind those seats though. I do like that, but I do miss having a big locker over here, which I guess I kind of have, just in a different location. This boat did come with its own cooler that fits in here, but I tell you what, there's a little bit of indent inside of here, so that keeps it from sliding around. It can move a little bit, but it actually kind of holds itself. But in order to get this cooler out, it does not just lift straight up. You have to actually kind of bend the seat a little bit and try to wiggle it out because it just barely fits. And when you open up the cover, you've also got to kind of keep some tension on that, otherwise you're going to get, you see I had the cooler the other way the other day, and I got a little scuff mark where I'm opening that up. So I don't particularly like that a whole lot. I wish this cooler was either just a little bit smaller, or maybe this hatch would open just a little bit differently to allow for better access to this. You've got your other ballast bag over here, which takes up a lot of your storage room that you really would have had without that. I wish that there was a box on this side as well. That way you knew exactly where that bag was going to come out to once it was filled up, because originally, or if you're not going to use that, you can take that bag and fold it over or roll it up, get it out of your way, but you got to make sure you unfold it when you go to fill it up. So there's a little bit of storage in here, not a whole lot. I absolutely love the fact that these seats are hinged though. Rather than my other one, you had to pick up the seats and then find a place to put them, both the back and the front. So these seats being on hinges are really awesome. Very, very much like that. These captain and co-captain chairs, we absolutely wanted that. And these swivel 360 and move forward and backward. We move up here, we've actually got really nice seating up here. Same thing here, we have hinged seats. And then we've got filler cushions that are actually in two pieces that will sit over here. Fills up this area. There's not a whole lot of storage though, besides, I mean, your two filler cushions pretty much take up all of that. Your second filler seat, so you put one over here, the second one you can actually put up here and make another forward-facing seat for your kids or your friends or whoever that want to face forward as you're driving. Another thing you can do if you want to face forward while you're driving, you can pull out this cushion. This allows you to sit here. You got a handle, you're forward facing. It's nice for probably the kids or maybe even an adult that would want to sit there. That's actually pretty nice, but it takes up what could have been storage there. It's a little bit of a bummer. We do have cup holders up here. They are also draining. We've got speakers up here. Same thing with this storage. We don't have a whole lot of room. You throw a couple of towels, maybe your flares and a first aid kit. And this is the cushion that goes in the back. And definitely not as much storage as I would have liked. But if you do not use the head as a head or a changing room, obviously you could pack a crap ton of stuff in there because that's a large compartment. And I think that that is where Yamaha gets the good majority of what they claim is storage, because you can just pile that full of stuff. But realistically, you want to keep that somewhat accessible, whether you use it as a head or whether you use it as a changing room or whatever. Another thing that I do not like, well, let me say another thing I do like first. Okay, so over here we've got we got a ladder over here, so we've got a front ladder, and then we've got our anchor locker. I do not like that for $90,000 they do not give you an anchor, but you have to buy Yamaha's anchor because you cannot fit a regular anchor. My old anchor locker didn't have the ladder here, so this whole area was a little bit smaller, but the whole area was open. I could fit my own anchor in there very nicely. As a matter of fact, I kept two anchors in there, one for the front and one for the rear. And now you're pretty much stuck with Yamaha's anchor, and they charge $156 for their anchor, and you have to use their anchor. I don't like that. This holds the beam out a lot farther than what our other boat did, though. I like that a lot. You have a lot more room up here. You're going to sit 4 adults in here very nicely. The last one wrapped around and you had seating in the very front, so you could probably comfortably fit 3 adults. Here you could comfortably fit 4. If you got kids, you could probably fit like 6 or 7. This boat is rated for 12 people. My last one was only rated for 10, so we do have 2 more people that we can fit on here, and pretty comfortably, I think, because there is quite a bit of room up here. I'm not sure if I did miss something. Okay, so on top of this Bimini here, I don't know if you can see that, but we do have, right on top here, you've got a solar panel. That is going to charge your batteries while you're sitting out at the sandbar, while you're driving, whatever the case may be. That's going to go ahead and trickle charge your batteries, so you will hopefully never get a dead battery. You do also have, I think we showed you already, the dual battery system. You got a house battery, which runs everything, and then you've got your starting batteries, which runs your starters. You can parallel those in the event that for some reason your starter battery were to go dead. You can parallel it and you can run your house battery to start your engines too. So you should never end up getting stranded with a dead battery. We do have a nice wraparound windshield. This closes and this locks securely. Keeps a lot of the wind out when you're driving. You can also, if it's very windy or if it's raining maybe, you can close this as well. Maybe one of those early days, beginning of the year, you want to get out early, you can close that up. You can keep a lot of the wind out of here, and that is probably going to be helpful. Ooh, we should have maybe picked a calmer day to do this. This here is also storage. I didn't mention that. We've got our storage in there, storage of life jackets, whatever you want in there. You've also got your amplifiers and stuff like that for your sound system. We have a lot of cup holders. I actually like that. I like that we have a lot of cup holders. The trailer comes with a spare tire. We got the painted to match. You can also have a galvanized trailer if you live in a saltwater area. Probably gonna want that over painted. I like the look of the painted, and I don't take this out in saltwater, so painted was definitely the right way for me to go. It also has fancier rims, which you wouldn't want in saltwater either. Those chrome would rust pretty quickly. I think that's just about all of it. It does handle, in my opinion, it's got a deeper hull. It does handle the waves better than our old one. The extra weight probably is part of that, and then the deeper hull, I'm sure, is part of that as well. So if I missed anything, or if there's anything that you want to know, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, we are overall, we're very happy with this boat. And it's definitely a nice upgrade from our other one, although there were a few other things that one I would like to mention. Almost forgot about that. So our steering wheel, we've got rack and pinion steering. That makes it steer very nicely, steers very easily. Our old one had a cable, 2 cables, right? When you're going, you're holding onto that wheel with both hands. This one, nice rack and pinion steering, steers very nice and easily with one hand. The downside is, though, steering wheel is completely symmetrical all the way around. I have no idea where I am, and we make more than a full turn back and forth. My old one was, you know, this was forward, that was all the way to the right, that was all the way to the left, and you could tell that. You knew exactly where you were pointed. This one, you kind of have to put it in gear and find out which way you start to turn. And I don't like that as much, but I do like the rack and pinion. While we are driving, it steers a lot easier. We also, I don't know if I mentioned over here, we have a phone holder that will hold your phone, and that also will turn sideways. So if you're using maybe your phone for GPS, or maybe you're trying to FaceTime your grandkids, or you're just watching me on YouTube, you can set that whichever way you want, and you can watch that while you're on the water. If you are watching this channel for the first time and you haven't already, and you want to,
please subscribe.
Please subscribe.